Alright, hello everyone. Welcome. So it is PTB time. I really just want to go real quick over the new killer. Here he is. He has got his new perks. We'll go over those in a second. His name is the Trickster. I believe his name is Ji-Woon-Hak. He is, we'll just go over this. Ji-Woon-Hak thrived under the attention of others, energized by every eye that watched him and every tongue that spoke his name. Amidst the prestige, he had only one desire, more. Even as a child, he found ways to draw crowds. Working at his family's restaurant, he attracted business with spectacles he performed using throwing knives. Gullible tourists believed that this was a traditional South Korean experience. Gladly parting with their money to witness it. Ji-Woon's father spent the restaurant earnings on dancing and vocal lessons for his son, pushing him to attain the fame he never could. Ji-Woon, that sounds so freaking correct. I'm sorry, I study some Korean culture. It's a little bit of a stereotype, but still, it kind of works. Ji-Woon did not disappoint. After years showcasing his abilities to nobodies at talent shows, he hit the track to stardom. Yun-Jin Lee, a producer at Mighty One Entertainment, recruited Ji-Woon into her training program. He transferred to a dormitory in Seoul, where for 14 hours a day he was crafted into a star, taught how to move and sing, how to carry himself with the right balance of confidence and modesty. Draining as the process was, it worked. Yun-Jin selected Jin-Woo to join the band No Spin, bringing a raw energy to their tracks. Fame was almost immediate. Ji-Woon lived in a daze of interviews and adoration. Oh my gosh, I can't read ever, I'm so sorry. And though the frenzied schedule exhausted his bandmates, he was invigorated. Each day was an affirmation that he was greater than the mediocrity society spewed out. But over time, the champagne grew stale. When he looked at his fans, he saw their joy and envy split 5 ways, thinned out between each band member. The validation that had surged through him left a desperate yearning for more. Ji-Woon kept up impressions, mimicking a charm long buried under loathing. He recorded the last No Spin album with his bandmates, never missing a beat. After a lengthy lunch break, he returned to the studio to discover fate had granted him a gift. The scent of burning wires was unmistakable. He rushed to the control room, finding the door blocked by fallen speakers. On the other side, his bandmates pounded on the door, their cries accompanying the crackling of flames. Ji-Woon called to them, dashing to the speakers, grabbing one and stopping. He froze. Each breath was conscious or concise. Sorry. And I accidentally scrolled and lost this place. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Was concise, deliberate process requiring all his attention. The nearby cries hardly audible until slowly he backed away, and then he heard it. They were screaming his name as they burned, screaming for him to save them. Ji-Woon, Ji-Woon, Ji-Woon-Hak. It was the most beautiful thing he'd ever heard. When the fire crew arrived, his tears were genuine. Oh, that's creepy. Ji-Woon was celebrated as a tragic figure, a hero who did all he could in a futile attempt to save his friends. Yun-Jin paraded him through the interviews until it was time to rebrand. He was reborn as the Trickster, the solo artist who produced his own songs, sporting a soft heart beneath a wild exterior. But away from the concert setups and television stages, something grew darker. He targeted those who lived alone, coming to them at night. The first was a college student in a fire escape that led to her living room window. Ji-Woon woke her with a baseball bat to the skull, binding her arms and legs, gagging her with a rag and duct tape into her mouth. He tortured her for hours, dissecting her alive, yet there was something missing, a connection. He wanted to hear her pleading as he cut her belly open, but he received his muffled cries through a rag. He learned and adjusted. Victims had to be abducted, driven to an abandoned building where he could let their voices carry unresonated emotion. He made music from them, prodding in the right places to evoke different types of shrieks and howls, stabbing the quadrant's lumbarum, elected as long guttural wail, while slashing the carotid artery created a sound similar to a cat being strangled. There was honesty in their suffering. Ji-woon recorded each session, synthesizing and working them into his songs, hiding them beneath layers of melodies. He was elated with work. He left hints for police, arranging a mink boa from a recent photo shoot around a victim's neck. For the next killing, he removed the teeth from a man that a boxer in one of the music videos was without. During a particularly audacious plea for attention, he killed a fan he had met during a VIP meetup, replacing her eyes with diamond cufflinks and writing, "I have seen God in blood," across her chest. Each scene was a dazzling spectacle. Between music and murder, Ji-woon's work was discussed globally. However, as violence became his preferred art style, his music career took a hit. Revenue was down, and Mighty One executives pointed their fingers at him. Yun-Jin, with professional fury, came to his defense, but she was outnumbered. It was decided that Ji-woon could no longer self-produce his songs. The decision was devastating. His tracks fused genuine humanity into music, yet executives rejected anything that was generic and expected. And so be it. If they couldn't understand his arts, he would incorporate them into it until they did. He had 3 months until he was to perform a private show for Mighty One's board members, 3 months to plan his magnum opus. He transferred obscene amounts of money to a veterinarian in exchange for canisters of nitrous oxide, then bribed the stage technician of Mighty One's private theater for access to the room. His celebrity granted him a benefit of the doubt no regular person could conceive. When the show was ready, guests seeped into the room as executives and stagehands awaited Ji-woon's conveniently running behind schedule. When he arrived, half-conscious bodies were slayed on their seats and crawling across the floor. He were quickly binding everyone, pausing only when he came to Yun-Jin, the woman who had plucked him from the mud hole and set him in the path that he deserved. She would be rewarded, granted special access to the coming display of wonder. Even under sedation, she fought a raging storm within her, far stronger than the others. He propped her up as the lone audience member, prying her eyes open. The others, sniveling and sobbing, were brought to the stage to perform their final act. When, with a contemptible sneer, he slapped makeup onto their faces and shone stage lights upon them. They became his instruments. To the sound of self-produced melodies, he tortured them, gracefully dashing from one body to another, conducting an operatic crescendo from their wailings. They shouted, whimpered, screamed, cried for their loved ones, cried for their mothers. It was a magnificent outpouring of emotion, of what it meant to be human, and they did it with eyes fixed on Ji-woon. Jesus. Viscera drained from the stage until, with the toss of his throwing knife, the final human instrument fell silent and the music stopped. Covered in sweat and blood and exhausted, Ji-woon looked at Yun-Jin and bowed. Curtain call. He had attained perfection. With blade in hand, he made his way to Yun-Jin, prepared to tie up loose ends before the credits rolled. But as he reached her, the fog, from where he didn't know, but it billowed around them, damp and cool, comfortable. He saw the grand stage, hospitals and temples, forests and slaughterhouses, an eternal plain adorned with rusted hooks and sustained a million eyes that would watch him, run from him, experience him, All he had to do was accept, become an implement of the fog, and most importantly, make them scream. Encore. That is a backstory. Perks. Let's go over perks before we go over the power. He's a 4.4 movement speed killer, so I think that's 110. So a little bit, typical killer. He's got 24 meter and he has an average height. Starstruck. Your unmatched showmanship dazzles all. Starstruck activates when you're carrying a survivor. Survivors within your terror radius suffer from the exposed status effect for 20 seconds. Starstruck cool down for 90 seconds once a survivor is no longer carried. I think that's I like it because you can pick up, there's no such thing as body blocking around him. You can combine this with some perks. It's not the most amazing thing because again, people have to be in your terror radius. But it opens up some interesting builds. We then have Hex Crowd Control. So it is a Hex perk. It can be destroyed. The Hex that ensures those lesser than you are properly hurted. The entity blocks a window for 10 seconds after a survivor performs a rushed vault through it. The Hex effect persists as long as the related Hex totem is standing. So I've seen this. It will block a window. The tier 3 is 16 seconds. So for 16 seconds, it will block a window. It does not have a limit. It can block, if somehow you get every survivor to jump through every window in the game, it will block every window for those 16 seconds from the second you first jump. It is interesting. It works. I think it's really good to shut down LT walls. It does not work on things that aren't windows, like pallets. If you jump over pallets, it's not going to work. And then the last one is No Way Out. You're not going to let anyone into the VIP room. Each time you hook a survivor, No Way Out gains a token. When the last generators are repaired, the entity blocks both exit gate switches for 9 seconds for each token in your possession. This goes up to 10 at rank 3, I know that. So if you hook all 4 survivors, that is 40 seconds after the generators are done that they cannot touch the exit gates. So that gives you a lot of time, and then you can tackle this with some other fun things. I think that's kind of a nice thing because that gives you almost a whole minute after they finish the generators to do something where they cannot escape. And then if you have Remember Me, that 20 seconds turns into 35 or whatever it goes up to, and it's just, you're going to make it real hard to get out. The power. I've seen it in action. You're going to have to see it. I'll play it a little bit, but a mesmerizing skill honed through a lifetime of practice. Yun-Jin unleashes a fury of knives with rapid speed. Start the trial with 60 blades, which I know seems like a lot, but when you see it being played, it's not. Press and hold the power button to unwind and enter a throw state. While in the throw state, tap the attack button to throw a single blade, or hold down the attack button and unleash a flurry of blades. Throwing a flurry increases control and throw rage while decreasing your movement speed. New meter. Laceration meter. Restock blades and lockers. Laceration meter. The survivor's laceration meter increases each time they are hit by a blade. Once the meter is filled, they will lose a health state, either becoming injured or down. The survivor's laceration meter will gradually decrease if they have not been hit by a blade for a short while. Hitting a survivor with a basic attack will immediately decrease their laceration meter. Basically what this is you throw knives very quickly. You have to hit them with, at base, you have to hit them with 8. 7 will cause them to scream, so you know that they're ready to be knocked down, and the 8th will put them down 1 injured state. This, of course, can be adjusted with add-ons, which I'll go over super quick. The special ability. So there's a special ability. As you're throwing knives, you'll gain a little line around the bar, sort of like how Bubba and perks charge up, but you have to hit people to get this. Each blade hit fills the event meter. Once the full main event, which is the ability, can be activated, pressing the action button. In this mode, the Trickster temporarily unleashes his full potential, wielding an unlimited number of blades, and his throwing rate is significantly increased, and his movement speed will not slow down while in the throwing state. So I watched someone do this in tight corners, Midwich Elementary, in the basement hallways, or any staircase really, or just small areas where people can't run a lot, this is devastating. Or if there's a lot of people around, he can just chuck them so quickly at people and just build up these attacks. Now, one thing that I did see that I think people have questions about is borrowed time. Borrowed time does block these once. So if you get hit by 8 blades and you have borrowed time, you must get hit with those 8 blades during that borrowed time, or be injured, get hit by your 8th blade for borrowed time to take its effect. But borrowed time does work against this power. As of right now, he has nice. He has no cosmetics, but we're thinking that he will. And then we'll real quick go to the survivor. Oh, I think his weapon, I didn't notice. Survivor. Yun-Jin Lee. So this is her base. She has her 3 perks as well. No anything. Alright, we'll go through her character and then we'll go through her perks. Well, that is just as long, so get ready for a story. Alright. Yun-Jin Lee. Resilient and ambitious, Yun-Jin was born into a life of hardship, finding success in the music industry after years of effort and self-sacrifice. As a child, Yun-Jin was fascinated by sound, mimicking drums and hitting keys on the piano. When she turned 10, however, she lost her instruments. Her family was heavily in debt and did not make the payments in time. The creditors took everything they owned, including their house. Yun-Jin held her 4-year-old sister tightly as she cried. They moved into a windowless 2-bedroom basement. Since her parents worked day and night to pay their debt, Yun-Jin became her sister's caretaker. Every night she sang until they both fell asleep. I'm going to just scroll before I keep going. Apologies. At 17, the renowned record label Mighty One Entertainment came to her high school to audition talent. She was rejected as an idol trainee, but obtained an unpaid internship at the studio. For the following year, she created some of the studio's biggest hits without any credit or recognition. To get her due, she emerged in the public eye wearing flamboyant fashion and put sound bites into her songs that looped her artist name, magnum opus. Fans became to recognize her songs, and she became the producer of No Spin, a poorly performing boy band who needed her special touch. Dissatisfied with No Spin's commercial sound, she sought a rogue element to make the band stand out. Through her contacts and talent shows, she found an energy, raw sound of Ji-woon Hak. She relaunched No Spin with Ji-woon as its newest member. Within hours, the first video was a viral sensation. Their success cemented Yun-Jin's reputation as a shrewd producer. Adorned in high fashion to attain luxurious event, Yun-Jin's harsh, impoverished childhood seemed far behind her. She moved into a penthouse and dined with socialites in skyline restaurants with breathtaking views of Seoul. The success of the first album broke records, setting the bar high for No Spin's second. As they were recording new tracks, the fire alarm suddenly blared. Concerned for her safety, Yun-Jin hurried to evacuate the building and left the Dowling staff behind. Only when she bolted out into the streets that she realized No Spin was nowhere amongst the coughing crowd. A goliath of flames engulfed the building, slowly tamed by a steady streams of fire hoses. All members of No Spin perished in the fire except for one, Ji-woon. The album was ruined. The band was over. She would be shelved while Ji-woon would rot away as an instructor for idol trainees. But she refused to be the victim who watched helplessly as vultures swooped in to take what was hers. Unknown to Mighty One Entertainment, she created new tracks to relaunch Ji-woon's career. She pushed him to tap into the grief and create a song exploring the pangs of sudden loss. The music video showed Ji-woon saying goodbye to each member of No Spin. Yun-Jin cleverly launched the song under Ji-woon's newly adopted stage name, the Trickster. He would embody both fear and awe, like the legendary Dokabe spirits. Excuse me, I don't know how to say that. I'm so sorry. Ji-woon's song was a global phenomenon. Its universal themes of grief and guilt resonating internationally. Together, Yun-Jin and the Trickster toured the world. Success greeted them on every shore. Yet, disturbingly, so did series of eccentric murders. The connection unsettled Yun-Jin as she noticed that the tour dates coincided with the victims' times of death. She was wary after the loss of No Spin and anxious to preserve her artist, so she increased the Trickster security detail. What if the serial killer was an unhinged fan fixated on the Trickster, inspired by the artist's morbid songs? Returning to Seoul, Yun-Jin worked with Ji-woon on his new material. When she entered the studio at the brink of dawn, she was surprised to see Ji-woon already there. He seemed exhausted, like he had worked all night. When she listened to his track, she discovered a bizarre intro filled with shrieks and snares. It was too experimental for her taste. After a week, another death was reported. The body showed traces of torture and was arranged in the same flamboyant style as previous murders. This time, diamond cufflinks gouged into the eyes of the victim's eyes. The following day, the victim was on every television channel. A video of the victim's social media showed her squealing surprise when her boyfriend handed her a heart-shaped birthday cake. Yun-Jin's stomach churned, that voice so familiar, and yet she had never met the victim. The next morning, her heart froze when she listened to Trickster's opening track. The shrieks in his song matched the victim's squeal. Did he sample the victim's birthday video? No, that was impossible. He had recorded the song before the murder was reported. She stared at Ji-woon on the other side of the booth's glass window. He was No Spin's only survivor. Everyone else was dead, not to mention the eccentric murders that matched his tour dates, death trails that seemed to converge. To him. If he caused this, no artist would survive the scandal. Yun-Jin's career, no, her life would be over. All she had would destroy her. A wave of nausea surged over her. Heart racing, she rushed to the restroom. Wild thoughts blazed through her mind as she splashed icy water on her face. There had to be a simpler explanation. Perhaps she was overworked, or maybe she did not trust her success. Her mind was fabricating the suspicion because disaster was easier to trust than success. It was all in her head. She returned to the recording booth, eager to put her worries behind. Months later, pressure came to Mighty One Entertainment executives. Revenue was down, and they blamed the Trickster since they disapproved the violent themes in his music and the knife tricks he pulled during performances. While Yun-Jin was furious, they scapegoated his artist. She agreed that Ji-woon's sound was too niche to generate profit. She told Ji-woon she fought them off, but was ultimately outnumbered. Because of her initial fury, he believed her to be on his side. They were given 3 months to create and perform the next hit for Mighty One. Months flew by, and the time came for Yun-Jin to take a seat at the executive's private show. She was confident about her song, but as soon as the music started, she knew something was amiss. Dense, foul smoke permeated the room. Yun-Jin coughed and gasped for air, but the more she coughed, the more she inhaled. Her body sank into the chair, her limbs heavy and numb, and her eyes withered as she watched, terrified, a nightmare come to life. The Trickster was whirlwind of blood, slashing, stabbing, and chopping limbs. The executives were carved up like meat. They could not run. They were stuck, like Yun-Jin, paralyzed, a boiling rage swelling up in her gut. How could she have denied her instincts? The fire, the murders on the tour, it was him. It had always been him. And she had known from the start. Now her career was over, and so was Mighty One. Everyone she had worked with, her colleagues, her friends, dying before her eyes. Everything she had taken from her once more. No, she would not let him. He would pay. he would know the suffering. Suddenly, dark coils of black fog rose from the ground, and she was somewhere else. Bright lights flashed and blinded her. A spotlight found her in the darkness. Then a crowd erupted, chanting the name, Magnus Opus, Magnus Opus. She smiled and welcomed the darkness within. All right, they went just gosh darn ham on these freaking backstories. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. We will look at her 3 perks. We have Fast Track. Sometimes the sacrifice of others is necessary to get ahead. When another survivor's hooked, you gain 1 token. You consume all tokens after a great skill check on the generator. Each token grants you 1% bonus progression for a great skill check when repairing. So basically you get tokens when other people are hooked, and you get generator progression, extra generator progression based on your tokens. It starts off really low, but at late rank 3 you get 3 tokens that grant an extra 1%, so you're getting like an extra like 3% or something when you get a great skill check, which cuts off in time, because I mean there's 12 hooks, 9 of them from other survivors, so you can get 9 hooks, which is an extra 9% progression, something like that. Then we have Smash Hit. When your rival makes a mistake, you seize the opportunity. After stunning a killer with a pallet, you break into a sprint 150% your normal running speed for 3 seconds and get exhausted for 60 seconds. So it is an exhaustion perk that's sort of like Sprint Burst, but it only works after you stun a killer. Yep, that's it. I guess it's useful to get away. I don't find myself really using it. And then you have Self-Preservation. Life's unforgiving. The more confirmation you get of that, the more prepared you become. Whenever another survivor within 12 meters of you gets hit by a basic attack or special attack, Self-Preservation will activate. Your scratch marks are hidden for X amount of seconds. It's 6, 8, and 10. At rank 3, 10 seconds. So basically, if you're around someone who gets hit, you have 10 seconds to run away without leaving scratch marks, but she is in a bright white coat, so that's only somewhat useful. As of right now, she also has no cosmetics, but we are thinking that the cosmetic that we saw of her in the Twitter account, I don't have Twitter, but I saw other people, it was like a Twitter account looking thing, we think it is her. I know I have her lore, but I can't think of it working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the killer once, and then I'm going to play the survivor against the killer. It's PTB, so this matters really real quick. I have a feeling I'm going to be in here for a long time. So we're just going to start getting stuff. Look at this little sexy motherfucker. I kind of like his nails, that was cute. Oh, I didn't go over his add-ons. Basically, the add-ons are exactly what you would think. His add-ons will, increase the amount of knives he has, increase your speed when throwing knives. They will, some of them make the knives ricochet, some of them will make, I don't know. We'll go over them if I have time. The odds are I'm going to be in party search mode forever. It is actually almost noon for me. So we're just going to get through some levels real quick. Hopefully get me something. Oops. What if I don't? We're just gonna get him to 15 so I don't have arcs. I'm kind of excited for this one. I think it's fun. I mean, it's super flamboyant. survivor, but he looks like a survivor. I love his jacket. I would absolutely own and wear that jacket. Look at that, they gave me Bloodborne. It's like they heard me. Okay, so he has all those. What's the other? I'll take it. Okay, so I would like his perks. And we're going to take Bloodborne with it. So yeah, moderate increase in movement speed while throwing blades, slight increases initial rate of blades, increases the restoration. Oh yeah, so like their laceration disappears if you aren't throwing knives at them for a period of time. So if they escape chase, or you run out and don't reload, or things like that, eventually those up to 8 hits that you've done will become meaningless, although the 8th is an injured state, so. Slight increases time before the laceration restarts the king. Same kind of thing. Moderately increases the duration of the event, so your extra power. Increases duration, movement speed. I'm sorry I'm not going through all of these. If you want, you can go to... Who do I like? I mean, I watched Oxdarva's video about him and the Survivor, which is kind of how I learned that it even came out today. Forgot it was Tuesday. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to put that on. Blades. We're just going to do that. I'm going to just do base. I don't want to put anything on him. I want to bring a Mori, but I'm really bad at killer in general, and I don't think I'll even get to the last survivor. They'll probably all escape, so my legs. I don't want to waste it right now because I'm just practicing. If you'd like to see the Mori, I'm so sorry, it's all over YouTube, all over Twitter, and everything. Apologies, I'm sorry, I'm getting many messages in a row. It was a little later than I had expected it to be, so I do need this to pop. I might just switch over to Survivor because they're always faster. So I am just going to throw some pops on her. I'm gonna get into lobby. Let's see if I can even get her to 15. Because I do not have quite as much time to play as I thought. Yeah, see, survivors I knew were gonna be super quick. Okay. I can probably get her to 3 parts. I don't think I can get her further. Oh, an hour long, yeah. I don't have time for that. Let's just take, I don't know, Soul Guard and Track. No, let's take some new ones. Logan Paul. What is that? Who is that? Why do I know that name? Oh, that's just my friend's middle name from work. I don't actually know at all who he is. So yeah, you'll be able to see okay. Also, this will be my one game. I'm so sorry, I have to actually depart after this game, and I don't even know if I'll be able to fully play like I want to. I woke up really late today. I could not sleep. There was some screaming last night from someone outside. Anyway, you know, shut into my bed, so because I couldn't sleep. I usually go to bed at like 10 o'clock because I work early mornings every single day. God, it's midwich. Okay, so I've heard about weird lag things when it comes to controllers, which that was really awkward for me. Okay, hold on. I think he has his own custom music. Which there he is. That's not the right one. Oh, his laugh. We're all just standing there. We're all just standing there watching him kill her. Oh, I like that. See, when we do dumb shit like this, it's kind of a fun perk. I mean, I guess he doesn't want to have fun. He just wants to down us all with 5 gems. Which I'm kind of okay with, because I don't have time. But yeah, that's him throwing. He's not really throwing, because we're all just being idiots, so... Oh, okay, I don't want to hear shit about Elodie's scream anymore. That is much more high-pitched, and that will legitimately hurt my ears. I don't remember what my perks do. Oh, if I stun, something happens. That's kind of all I remember. Oh, and the other one is when other people are hooked, I get tokens. Oh, of course, I didn't get any tokens because I got hooked. We're like crying in unison. Sorry, girl. Okay. There's usually totems, and you know me, I am just a totem bitch. I love totems. It's like the only reason I play this game is to find totems and destroy them. Hey Chiquita, you wanna heal? No? Here's one. Yeah. her voice. Oh wait, we were all up here, weren't we? Okay, well... Oh my god! That did not work out in my favor. Oh, that... Alright. This kind of sucks because, as I was saying... What was that? Oh, that was my perk. Oh, that was weird. I don't like that. Oh, shit. I mean... It's not the most useful perk in the world, but... Oh shit, that I didn't even hear. Oh. And here he comes. I'll take this free medkit. Okay, so I was playing with keyboard before, and I could not figure out how to crouch. Someone was like, it's control, but it wasn't working for the longest time. My assumption was to barbecue meat, and I was wrong. Honestly, he's probably not. I just, for some reason, expected him to run right down. There's another one. Well, that was a fast heal. Okay, well, he doesn't have that Hex perk. So that's his power. Oh my god, the most evil laugh. God, and I can't do shit when exposed like that. I like her purple hair, though. Bye, Logan. What? I hate McRanch. Isn't there a generator out here usually? Oh, there it is. I think I just saw a flash of little coat run by me. I don't understand exactly what that cut. I mean, I feel like they think they did good things for that, but not gonna get me a heal, but I'm getting very far with it. Did I just see my own scratch marks, or am I just crazy? I don't know this place at all. Okay, and I'm back where I started or something. I'm somewhere. Oh, I was gonna say I think he's a knower, but maybe he's not. I have no idea how to get upstairs from here. That was a weird lag spike. Did I not hear a door open or something? Take some light hits for me. Wow, that was a whole bunch of points all at once. Yeah, that was really hard to track, like, the number to count and... Well, you didn't get to see very much. I'm so sorry. I was just hell-bent on and wanting the whole thing, so kind of got to see the throwing, which was kind of fun. I would love to play as him, but it's just not going to work. Wow, he walks, I don't know, it was backward or fast or something. Oh, he just hummed at me. I love the blades though. That's fun. So yeah, that was the everything. Soulberry Panda, I like it. I will be back later tonight to showcase more. I just wanted to get out the real quick information for anyone looking to get it from, someone who isn't super well known. Yeah, I will be on later tonight. I will get some killer games in. I am not going to. I will record them. And yeah, see, there's frame rate issues when I play. I will record them and put them on YouTube for the killer. I'm not going to be sitting here making everyone stare at the screen for an hour while we do nothing. So I'll get in some more Survivor games later tonight. But otherwise, yeah, I will see you all later.